Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of my double wall pot series. So this part is pretty easy. It's something that a lot of people don't know exists when you make pottery. There's a trimming stage. So what we need to do is trim the excess off of the bottom of our pot. Often we leave a lot of extra clay there, and in order for it to dry evenly or even be a good pot, we need the walls to be even. This is going to become a little tricky because you usually need to use the inside of your pot to see what the outside of your pot is going to look like. So wish me luck. When you have a shape that kind of is narrower on the bottom, when you attach this to the wheel, sometimes it'll wobble. So fortunately or unfortunately, this is where we need a chuck. I absolutely hate trimming with a chuck, so I try not to make things where I need one. But if I do, this is how I do it. So usually I would soak this in water. You want to find one that fits the shoulders of your pot. So if this goes here, and we're able to kind of fit it in there, we want to treat this entire thing as if it's one big cylinder instead of a pot with a neck on it. So by finding one that holds its shoulders, we now have a straight line. Let's see what the next steps are. Okay, so what we want to do is place it inside the chuck. We want to use a level to make sure that it is placed correctly and at least level to the ground. You want to measure both directions. If you don't have a level, there's often level apps that are available on your phone. There we go. Now you can see why this is relatively annoying. So now what we want to do is we want to center our entire pot to the wheel. So we need a pin tool, a large loop tool, and a small loop tool. You can go ahead and get fancy if you want. Those are my basic tools. So I never trim on a bat. I'm going to use the circles on the wheel to kind of hope that I'm centered or help to center it. The way that I do this is I draw a circle on my pot. If that circle is not quite in the center, I will move it a little bit towards the shorter side so that I can get it centered. Now, it takes a lot of memory to know what the pot looked like before I closed it up. I feel like I'm pretty consistent, so I believe that the bottom of that from here to here is pretty extra. So once I get that centered, which I do now, or centered as I can be, I'm gonna draw a circle for where I'm gonna stop trimming. And I know that it starts to get thick right around here. Now you can choose to take large pieces of clay and attach this to the wheel. So if you want to, you can go ahead and put coils here. And in a tripod sort of style to hold the plaster chuck to the wheel. You can also, if you'd like, take some extra coils, hold the top of your pot, and because you've wet your chuck, you're able to attach this. Now, I do not normally do this. When I am trimming my pots, I tend to have a firm grip on the top of my pot up here, so I know if the pot's gonna fly off the wheel. But for those who don't have that habit yet, this usually works. So we're gonna hold our loop tool, our large loop tool, with a strong wrist. So you wanna hold it as if you're cutting meat. Your wheel's going relatively fast, so when you trim, you're going to have the clay meet the tool, not the tool meet the clay. So if there's an uneven part and I just keep the tool in one spot, see how it takes off all those extra little pieces, and then you can hold on tighter. If you notice, my top hand has a firm grip on the top. My hands are attached here. My elbows are down on my body. And again, I'm working with my entire body. And there's also a speed. A lot of people think if they go slower, they'll be able to move their hands with the rotation. But unfortunately, I do not believe that our brain and our hands see things at the same speed. I think it takes a while for our brain to register. So you've just got to trust science. Instead, I think something strange in my pot right here. Unsure as to what that is. Okay, so as I start to just get off all this excess clay here, I've decided I don't really want to foot on this pot. think that once I get into this pot, we're gonna find something funky over here, like a sponge. All right. It's always great when using recycled clay and you find something unorthodox in the pot. And if you don't find it now, you will find it when it fires, because whatever it is will burn away and you're gonna have a big hole in your pot. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get the inside. Go from right to left, and then once I get to that center, I'll go from left to right. Now, the problem with this again is that it's hard for us to see how thick the bottom is because it's double walled. So I don't know what this is. I'm very sure that's a sponge. So we just have to sort of go by sound. If it's a high sound, then you know that it's a little thin. If you push down and the floor falls in a little, that you know that you've pretty much got as far as you can. So I'm going to get rid of the lines that I've made with my tool by using the large loop tool. I don't ever trim this. I feel as though the wire tool has created a flat surface for my foot, and then if I try and trim it with my tool, I'm probably never going to get it flat again. There it is. There's the yucky thing. I don't know what that is. Now I can decide to keep on trimming and see, or just wait till we fire it. Why don't we just wait till we fire it? Okay, how's that for a unexpected blooper in my video? So I am gonna go a little bit lower than I normally would, and that's because I'm going to carve out my pot. So I normally don't allow people, nor that bumpy thing, to trim that far down, but I want it to be evenly consistent so that when I carve holes in it, it is not too thick to do that. So you can see by the top here, or the bottom, that I have removed the excess thick parts that are here. As you can see, there's my mysterious piece of something that's in my pot. That's going to be fun. And I have created what I call the hidden foot. Now that I have finished this pot off, I can decide what type of design I want to cut into the side of it. So here it is, the final product of my double walled pot. So unfortunately, I had a little bit of a technical difficulty. I began carving this with my camera on, doing time lapse, because I figured who really wants me to watch me do this in detail. And after going through all of this effort, a few mistakes right there, I had to cut and paste. I hashtag carved the shit out of it. I went to look at the final product, and turns out I was never recording. Bummer, it would have been a really awesome time-lapse video. Would have made you dizzy, but it would have been pretty fun to watch. So, lesson learned, check your camera. Make sure it's filming. Thanks so much for watching this video. Remember to subscribe to Mud Girl Pottery to watch some more awesome stuff that I will be making for you and teaching you how to make. Have a great day.